Let's see. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to go live. Yeah, I accidentally pushed the button. Okay, well, Camille should be with me in just a minute here. I was still setting up my rig. Um, how's everybody doing? Who's here? Where are you from? Yeah, this looks pretty good. I got this ring light and it has a little thing to hold the phone. So we're gonna be talking to Camille Berry in just a minute here. Really wish I wouldn't have pushed the go live button. It was an accident. Let's see. Just seeing if there's. Oh, here we go. Here she comes. Okay, I pushed add. Okay, there she is. Hi, Camille.
Hi.
I accidentally pushed go live on accident. I was trying to push something else.
Oh, okay. No problem. I'm nervous, so I'll just be calming my nerves.
Well, you're good. So it's been a while, you guys, since I've done an interview with anybody, but I still have Camille that we're doing right now, and then one other person. A long time ago, I think it was earlier this year, I did a call out for anybody that wanted to start a YouTube channel if you were a woman, because President Nelson has been bringing up President Kimball's prophecy of how the women of today would be the ones that would bring in large numbers of people into the church. And he's brought it up a couple times. He said that the women that President Kimball was talking about are the women of right now. So I wanted to help that along, and I offered to do interviews. So Camille is one of the last ones, and her channel is called Camille Berry. It's just her name.
It's my name.
And it's really good. It's essentially, from what I can tell, from what I've seen, it's kind of a vlog, but you also talk about other things too, some like doctrinal things, right? Like what's your channel about? What's your vision for it?
Well, when you extended the call, I kind of got hung up on like what to do. I couldn't think of what to do. And so I didn't do anything basically. And then True Millennial did his interview with Elder Bednar.
Mm-hmm.
The quote, so I'll read it.
Okay.
Elder Bednar said, I just invite people to be prayerful, consider the normal, natural flow of your life. What can you do about your life, about your family, about your children that highlights the gospel, but it's not an in-your-face, overt, come have the missionaries come to your home. Just live the gospel. Let some of that be in your social media posts. And it was like this aha moment of, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but for now I can just share a little bit of my life. And so that's what it started as. And then I thought to share 3 years ago, I had this experience where I realized I didn't really know what President Nelson had invited us to do. People of his presidency all the way to currently. And I wrote down every invitation he's ever made. And I just started going through and each one. And I had this most incredible spirit come into my life. And so I've been sharing it with my family. Like I know he's a prophet because this spirit came into my life. It's been amazing. And so it's been 2 years since that. And I just had the thought, you should share this online. And it did really well. It's one of my best videos. But I now have more ideas of what I'm going to do, and I'm working on a couple series that I'm excited about. So basically, I have the vlogs, and then the talking about conference, and then topics, gospel topics is my Every Needful Thing series. But I have 2 more things that I'm doing that I'm really excited about. So the first one is called Home in Christ. And I feel like I've been really blessed to meet a lot of amazing people in my life. And so I'm going to be interviewing people about how they invite Christ into their home. And the first one that I'm doing are actually a good friend of ours from Vietnam. And they just ended up in St. George, which is where I live right now.
Oh, wow.
So they like ended up in the same city as us, which me and my husband have moved all around, and we just ended up here. And so our friend ended up here too. They didn't know we were here. And he got married and they were sealed in the temple. And so I'm so excited to share their story. That's the one I'm working on right now.
Oh my goodness.
the final series that I'll have is like just sharing happy news, because I feel like we do have a lot of negative news. And so I'm going to share uplifting news at the end of the week. So that's
Yeah, I
what
think that's good.
that's my vision, and that's what I'm working on. But I haven't even announced that on my channel yet. So I'm just working in the background on it.
And I do
So
see that you've done some kind of like second coming type videos, like you talked about President Nelson's time is running out. I saw that on one of the thumbnails, right?
yeah, well, that was the one where I discussed all of his invitations that he's ever made. And if you look at him like that, it really is pretty clear, what he's saying and what he's inviting us to do, which is why I feel like your invitation was so in line with that, because we all should be sharing the gospel. And it doesn't have to all be on YouTube, but like we can do so much good online and in our communities as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm
So,
excited. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm excited.
well, so what insights did you get from that, from President Nelson's invitations? You said that it's pretty clear what he's like, asking people to do. What is that exactly? What did you find out?
Revelation, like seek for your revelation, get uh get so you're comfortable and understand the Holy Ghost and how it's talking to you, and just continually turn to Christ. And that's the funny thing is, and I'm sure you know this from your experience, I'm just a tiny channel, but like people come out and say the weirdest things on these videos about President Nelson. And I'm just like, if you just listen, like just listen to what he's saying, even if you don't believe he's a prophet, he's turning us all to the Savior. And so, like, he's a good man and he's doing good. And I don't know. It's crazy. People are interesting in the comments
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, he has gotten the church to be much more focused on Christ. Everything from using the full name of the church, as well as, I think this is just my own belief, taking the angel Moroni off the temple is like not doing that anymore. Not that there was anything wrong with that, but I think it's in line with how he's trying to get everything to be focused more on Christ. For example, you go into the temple, and instead of welcome to the temple, now it's welcome to the house of the Lord. And there's been a whole lot of that going on. And I tend to think that it's in preparation for the second coming. I do. For a couple different reasons. Number one, Christ is coming. So we should be
No matter
focused on
when.
Christ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but also I think that it's like easier for new converts or people that are investigating the church because they're looking for Christ. A lot of them already have a sense that Jesus Christ, is the Messiah. That this is true, but they don't. They need to know that He is found here in our church. And so, if we have a large influx of members in the church, and that's something that I've talked about a lot recently, whether it's before the second coming or at the beginning, I think they're really going to need to be able to see Jesus Christ quickly and clearly and know that they're in the right place.
Yeah.
So, but so what are your thoughts about the second coming? What are some of your insights? What do you feel? What do you think about this year that we've had? It's been a pretty crazy year.
It has been crazy, but it's also, in a strange way, it's felt like not as easy as last year. I don't know. I just felt like last year there was a lot more stuff
Disasters.
consistently happening. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're definitely in the last days. And I've had experiences where I'm talking about something with the second coming and I just have this like really strong feeling. So I don't know exactly what that is, but I'll share one experience that I've never forgotten, because um, this was way back in 2016.
Okay.
So me and my husband kind of struggled having kids, and I had a couple of miscarriages, which were devastating. And so when we finally had my baby, it was like so joyful, so happy, and so difficult because having your first was so crazy. But I
Mhm.
remember this woman came over to just bring something for me, and we just got talking about um I don't know how. We just started talking about the second coming. And I mentioned to her, I was like, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like there's this forward motion. Like something has started that I just feel in my soul is like this motion is starting forward. And she said, it's interesting that you said that, because this year we've had, she was a nurse, and she said, we've had the most twins born that I've ever seen. And she's like, I just feel like all the babies are coming here for the last days. And I just had that incredible feeling. And I was like, whoa, this is the real deal. Like and I don't know how soon. And I of course have hopes that it's tomorrow because life is so crazy. But I was just amazed with knowing that, and ever since then, and then I found your channel, of course, and it's just so hopeful. Like, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's a hopeful thing, and
Yeah.
it can be overwhelming for, especially for me, just how my brain works. It can feel very overwhelming, but also just like if I focus in on what's most important, then it's hopeful and happy.
Yeah. Now, was this person that you were talking to, were they a member of the church?
I think so. Yeah.
And they felt like all the twins had to do with more people being born in preparation for I mean, of course, like, she herself probably, isn't sure about that, but she kind of like had that sense like that was her guess.
Yeah, she noticed. I mean, it was noticeable to the
Yeah.
point where she thought, "Wow, this is amazing." And so I don't know. It's been awesome to see what's happened just within the last 3 years. So I'm
That's
excited
interesting.
for what's to come.
Yeah, me too. I may have to like look into that and see if there has been an uptick, like if anybody's written about that, if there's any news articles or anything. I wouldn't be surprised. There's like this kind of like interesting thing in the scriptures where you have twins, So for example, uh you have Isaac and Esau, for example. They were twins. And I think it shows up a few other times. I remember I watched a really interesting video about it one time talking about this theme of like twins in the Bible. But anyway, so um, so how have you experienced all that? Like, did things like for me? I really started getting really hyper focused on the second coming probably around like 2017, 2018, definitely by 2020. How was it for you? How's it been like your whole life? Like how have you
How I've
experienced
been
like yeah.
I would say, like I said, that forward motion was around 2016, 2017.
Mhm,
Before then, I would say though that like always in institute and seminary, it was really like this big long list of things that had to happen. And they were so incredible and amazing that I just naturally thought, oh, this is going to take forever. This is
mhm,
going to be a long time till it happens. But actually, I've been surprised. I think 2023 has shown me how fast things can happen, and just like in this amazing quick succession. And I think 2020 showed all of us how we can experience something globally, which
yeah.
was really interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
What in 2023, I mean, I have my own ideas about this, but in 2023, what was going on, or like what were you observing so much in 2023? Like for example, I know there was like a lot of fires, for example, going on. That's one thing that I
Yeah,
was
like
covering pretty
I think it
heavily.
was a lot of natural disasters, and then I've had this conversation with my friends a lot. Because we have social media, we can find out about things that we'd probably never ever hear about. And I think that's what stands out about our time right now is that we have this ability to see what happened. I think there's like one, just as this is just an example. There was a concert in Colorado where this crazy hail started falling after a concert, like,
Hmm.
or no, before it even started, I think, and these people were like running screaming to their cars. And I just remember thinking, this is so odd that I'm watching this video from somebody else's phone that's happening, and it was in the midst of all these other things. So you mentioned fires. There are just a lot of big floods and storms, and I know you have your list, but I started making a list of my own last year. I haven't kept up with it this year,
Oh,
but I just kind of YouTube knows me really well, so they have stuff all the time showing up. But I just kept track of each state, and like just when I saw something that was kind of remarkable, I just type it out. And I just like, whoa, that's weird. And then when I looked at the end of the year, I just was in awe of all of the things that had happened that were remarkable, not just like little little natural disasters, but the ones where they're like saying this has been the biggest storm
Hmm.
for 100 years, or this has been, stuff like that.
Yeah. There was the recent, I've gotten a bunch of emails about it, but there was this recent tornado in California, which is like, it was very rare. The entire city of San Francisco was under a tornado warning, which that was the first time in recorded history that they've been under a tornado warning. So yeah, it does continue. Last year, I don't think it was just because I was tracking it, but there were like all these like flooding events. There were like a lot in like Europe, in other places too, Africa and other places, but there were so many. Like anytime I got on X, I would see just all these videos of these crazy flash floods. And I feel like that has slowed down a little bit this year. I haven't seen so much. There has been. There has.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah.
people
But it just
were
doesn't feel like as much. I don't know why. Like this
yeah,
year, maybe they're reporting it less. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think there has been as much like that. I feel like the people that document it, they do a pretty good job. Like you have a bunch of like private uh what do they call, like private journalists on X, and I feel like some of them do a good job at keeping on top of those things. But anyway, it seems like that's kind of like slowed down. Um I know there was like a lot of flooding in Valencia, Spain, which caught my attention. That happened this year. People were emailing me. I didn't do a video about it because I've kind of like shifted away from like trying to cover every single little event like that. I mean, not little, but like it's hard to keep on top of it all.
Yeah.
Um, that was actually the last area that I served in on my mission. Was in Valencia. I love that city.
Is that north? Is that up north, Valencia?
No, it's on the East Coast. It's
Oh,
the
okay.
it's the third largest city in Spain after Madrid and Barcelona,
Oh,
but it's
okay.
like an East Coast. It's like solidly kind of like halfway up the country, like north to south. It's like about middle, if I remember right. I think it's more like in the middle, but on the East Coast. Um, but there's been a lot of stuff this year, as far I feel like, as far as like signs in the heavens. Like uh, I feel like
That's
there's like a
true.
little bit of yeah. I feel like there's been a little bit of like eclipse fatigue. Whenever I put out a video about the eclipse, or maybe Caitlin does, like people don't really watch it as much, but it still blows my mind the eclipse that we had this year and its relation to the Kirtland Temple and the church sites and the day after conference and whatever. And then the auroras. Did you get to see the auroras this year? There were two
I
times.
didn't. No,
Dang.
I tried to go outside and I didn't understand that you had to like lower the thing on your camera. So I was like, I don't see anything. But no, I
Yeah,
didn't get to see those. But I did get to see a bit of the eclipse in St. George, and that was incredible because I think some of us were anticipating something to happen, and
yeah,
nothing really happened but I did feel the spirit, so it felt significant. I don't know
yeah.
why.
I still think it is. I don't know if it points to, for example, the Kirtland Temple, how it was just purchased, or I don't know if it points to something in the future, or if something that we don't even know if happened on that day. Who knows? But a lot of people feel like it was significant. Um, one thing, so I feel like there has been a lot of crazy things going on this year, kind of like outside of natural disasters, for the most part. But one of the crazy things, have you been keeping on top of the drones that are being reported in the news? Like, what do you
Okay,
have an opinion about that?
I haven't watched it because I'm questioning whether or not it's good for my mental health. But it is really crazy. And I don't know. Yeah. It's been really strange.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Have you
There's
done a
a
video
whole
on that? Are you going to do a video on that?
maybe.
Maybe.
It's just that I don't know what I think myself. There's all sorts of possibilities. Everything from it's a foreign adversary to it's us and we're trying to detect radiation, or we're trying to detect like a imminent terrorist attack, or or it's this or that. There's like nobody really knows. Some people think that it's a nothing burger. Other people are freaking out, and there's just not really a way to know.
Yeah.
Um, I've had some, I think, in my area. They were like pretty high up, but like one thing that people do is they'll see it. They'll see, if you didn't know any better, it just looks like a plane, unless it's like really close. It has like the typical aviation lights. But I've seen some here for the last few months. We didn't really pay attention until this story got
Really?
big. Well, I don't know. We've seen some aircraft that have been flying close together, and I was like, oh, maybe those are like military helicopters because it looked like they were in formation.
Okay.
Um,
Huh.
because there's like a certain spacing. Like when you're flying at night, if I remember right from my aviation days, you have to fly what's called IFR, which is instrument flight rules. That means that you have to have a flight plan, and air traffic control controls your spacing. Like you can only be this close together. Like I can't remember what it was, like say like 5 nautical miles or something like that. So whenever I see planes or aircraft close to each other, then I automatically assume, oh, that's like a military formation or maybe some other thing. But like at nighttime, it's not like it would be like a air show or anything like that. It's nighttime.
Yeah.
So it caught my attention, but I didn't really think much about it. But then when this like started becoming news, I started paying closer attention, and there have been 3 nights where I've seen um, these aircraft in the sky, and I would check flight radar 24, which shows you all the flights in your area, and there wasn't anything there for these 3 different times. So I don't know if it's part of this phenomenon, but there has been news that has come out of Wichita, where there have been reports in and around Wichita and to the east, and I'm only about an hour from there, so I don't
That's
know.
wild. That's
Yeah.
wild.
So
I
anyway,
haven't heard of it here in Utah.
yeah, I haven't
Have
seen
any
any
of you
reports.
guys heard about it in Utah? I haven't heard
Yeah,
anything.
or in your area, put in the chat. Um, David Swenson says China. I mean, yeah, sure. Who knows?
That's the
Who
hard thing
knows?
is, and you know this more than me because you served in the military, but I've just recently learned from a friend how much that you have to keep secret, and like there's crazy stuff that happens all the time and we just don't know
Yeah.
it as normal civilians. So
All I know is like this is just from my own perspective as a junior soldier. I never got too far into the military, too high ranking or anything like that. But whenever there's like exercises, like if these were like military exercises, it's highly coordinated with everybody, local officials or, whoever would be involved. Like it isn't done like in secret, but I'm talking about just like regular army drills when it comes to
so
like the air.
does this sound like most people don't know, like even people that should know, or do you think, well,
Yeah,
I guess we just can't know. Like they could be lying and say that they don't know.
I would recommend. Um, there's a channel that I like to follow called Jason A, just simply Jason A, and he compiles news stories. So he doesn't do any of his own content. I guess he funds himself through like Patreon, but so he doesn't get ad revenue, but he compiles all these news clips. So you're just like seeing strictly the news. Um, and his channel is just been exploding with this like drone content, and these are like news stations all across the country and the world, and it's not just in the United States.
Really?
One of the big problems is that they're seeing these drones above, like in restricted airspace, like above military installations or
That's
critical
scary.
infrastructure, places where they shouldn't be. And it's been going on. So I put this on one of my spreadsheets, and I researched it. The earliest date that I've been able to find is November 16th, although most of the news outlets will say November 18th, but it's been going on since like the middle of November, and it's been like every single night in mostly a lot of the reports are coming out in New Jersey, but there have been some in like Connecticut, New York, in
What
western states too.
countries? What other countries? I
Like
have.
The UK has some military bases where there have been incursions. Um,
What does that mean? I'm sorry, I don't know what that word means. Incursion is just
any,
like they saw it. They saw.
yeah, an incursion is where you have like a restricted area where you have like an unknown aircraft that goes inside that area that was not given permission to go there.
That's
So
wild. And it's like given the climate of the world, right? It's
yeah,
the alliances and stuff that's been going on the last 2 years. It's been kind of
yeah. There's another good video by this guy. He's a behavioral expert. His name is Chris Hughes. Um, he's trained like military and police and corporations, but he did a really interesting video about being careful when you have things like this going on, because sometimes things like this can be used as like a distraction, or it could be the prelude to something bigger. You guys might want to check out Chris Hughes' channel. It's his most recent video. But before you do that, subscribe to Camille. Do that
I'm
first.
writing down the Chris Hughes so I don't forget it.
Yeah. Subscribe to Camille Berry. The link is in the description box below. She's also on my featured channels list. And then after that, subscribe to me. And then after that, go check out those other channels.
It sounds like somebody said a U.S. military base in Germany.
Oh, I
And
mean, that
Mindy
sounds right.
said in Southern California they saw it, right?
Yeah.
That's
Um, David Parrish Slice says Wright-Patterson Air Force Base had to shut down for drones. And that's the what
where's that?
Wright-Patterson, that's Ohio, isn't it? Isn't that
Oh,
Ohio, David? So if it has to do with, yeah, he says Ohio. So if it has to do with military installations, Wichita would make sense because we have McConnell Air Force Base, and it's like it's a mainly like a I don't know what you'd call it. A lot of their aircraft are like refueling aircraft. So like for doing refueling in flight. So anyway, let's move on from that. Just a few more minutes and then we'll wrap up. So, but that might be something to keep your eye on. I don't know that I have enough to really make a video about it, but something weird is going on, and whatever. I don't know. What other things are you kind of like looking at, like as
I'm
far
trying to
as
look.
yeah, Saints in the South? No, I don't recognize. Mhm. Oh, oh wait, one second. Sorry, 1 second. The picture froze, but one person said that they can't hear. I can hear you. Can you guys hear Camille? Like I know that like on my side the picture froze, but it looks like for you guys too. But can you hear her at all? Um, put 5 by 5 if you can hear. Oh, Mindy says we can't hear. Dang it! I don't know why. Well, that's okay. Everyone's saying no sound. Oh wait,
Okay,
now
just
now the video. Now I see you. Now the video is working. Can you guys hear her now?
um I guess I should talk. Something. Okay,
You
that's
guys.
weird. Well, that's okay.
Oh, Casey Brown says good now. There's a bunch of good nows. Okay. 5 by 5. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay,
So
so we're
did you
back.
guys hear what I shared about the brothers in the South? Because I think you guys should check out that video. I thought it was pretty cool. But it was
Let
about
me
the
let, let
Tallahassee,
yeah, go ahead.
Florida.
Yeah,
Sorry?
that's the most recent one. Yeah.
Yeah. The
Um,
oh my gosh, Tallahassee, Florida temple dedication. You should check it out if you haven't watched it. It's really cool.
is it only in their video that you have the report of people hearing angelic choirs, or was that published like anywhere else?
It's only them. So that's why I want to interview him to see if I can get what's the word, corroborating stories, to hear if there are other people that said the same thing. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead and explain just really quick. I guess they missed that part. Uh,
Okay. watched the broadcast from their various chapels, he asked him about the choir, and they're like, "Yeah, they were okay." It's freezing because they don't want me to share this story. But
I
anyway,
know.
when yes, David said it. He said for the Denver temple dedication, they heard angels. But that's what this brother said, was he was in the room and it felt like there were thousands of voices singing. And
Wow.
I thought that's amazing. That's
Yeah. I that's one thing I don't know if you know. I've been trying to keep track of that actually. In a couple different places. I have a spreadsheet for visions and visitations, and then on my quotes A through Z spreadsheet, I have a section for, I think I have the topic titled Heavenly Choirs, where I just want to collect every single time that people have reported heavenly choirs. Um,
that's cool.
and it's a lot.
That's
There's
cool.
certain things that seem to like be pretty common at temple dedications. One is heavenly choirs. Another one is actually seeing angels, or having like visions. And then
Have you heard
another
stories
thing,
recently of people seeing angels?
yeah, I interviewed Tiffany Barker. Yeah, sorry, it's been a while since I've like talked to her. Tiffany Barker, she's on my featured channels list. She went to the St. George uh, temple rededication, and she says
In
that
person?
her, yeah, in
Or
person, yeah, yeah,
wow.
and
She's
she says that
lucky.
her and her children saw things there, and there's so it's too hard to explain. You might want to go watch that video,
Okay, I will. That's so cool.
um, but then another common thing is you'll have like the presence of like previous prophets there, and it'll be brought up, or someone will just say that they see them. Starting with the Kirtland Temple itself, there's two different accounts that when it was dedicated, there was an angel that appeared that came and sat like in the pulpits, um, and that Joseph Smith later said that uh, that was the apostle or the angel Peter. He was sent to accept the dedication of the Kirtland Temple. And
Wow.
I can't say this for sure, but it seems like that pattern has continued, because there are other times where people will report seeing like a recently deceased prophet or somebody. I think that someone is actually sent from the other side to accept the dedication, like that's like what they do on their side, is someone is sent to accept it.
That'd be so cool. They're just there with their heavenly clipboard.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing. That'd be so cool.
yeah. Well, we should wrap it up here. Don't want to go too long, but again, everybody make sure to subscribe to Camille. Again, she has a lot of good content. She does a vlog, but she also talks about doctrinal topics, and it's just there's good stuff going on over there.
Thank
So
you.
make sure to subscribe to her.
And Merry
And
Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, everybody. And then for me, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. Like this video if you liked it. It'll help it get recommended to more, so more people will discover Camille. Make sure to share it. That also helps. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, thanks, Jared. We'll see ya.
Bye.